The Tester Skills program is designed to give our learners as much information on how they can think more clearly, how they can apply their knowledge more effectively, and to adapt to environments that they're not familiar with as efficiently as possible. But we're very dependent on the learners' employers, coach, mentors, team leaders to give them some support, because we can provide some thinking skills, but how those skills are applied in your organisation is something that the learner has to figure out with support from you. So this is what we're trying to suggest is the most effective way of using the training that we're offering here. It's quite clear if you read the quote here that with line manager support, with leadership in their organisation, helping them to understand how they map their new skills with the way things are done in your organisation, it's a much more effective way of getting the skills transfer and making it an effective development activity for those individuals. What we're suggesting is that we're providing skills that allow them to operate as effective testers and hopefully to work independently and think for themselves. That's the mission, if you like, of the TSP. But as we say, we can't teach them how things work at your company. Only you guys know that. Now we call these things like the procedures, the practices, the responsibilities, the organisation, the tools you use. These are what we call logistics. So we will give big hints as to how logistics are applied, but we don't know the specifics of your organisation. So we can't teach them that part of their skills. So we encourage the students to ask lots of questions of their peers and their managers to understand how the skills that we're trying to impart can be applied. So we suggest that they ask your advice and maybe an introduction to experts within your projects or within your organisation to understand maybe how an operations manager would work, for example. Now, it's obviously going to help a lot if you can be open and help them to understand what works and does not work in your workplace. Now, what we suggest you do is it's very helpful for the individual to understand where they're at in their skills and development process, in that it's really helpful if using perhaps the syllabus that we provide or your own target skills that you know are weak in your organisation. It's important to identify these key development areas for individuals. Now, understanding what those skills areas, those development areas are, is one thing, but they need to be given pieces of work and assignments that help them to make use of the training that we're providing online or in classrooms. We need the tasks that they take on in their projects to make their development activities real to them. Now, clearly they need feedback once the training's done to confirm whether they're actually improving or not, but also the feedback to embed and reinforce these new behaviours that we're trying to introduce to people. And quite importantly is that once attention is turned away from their development, it's quite likely that they will revert to type. That is, if the new approaches, new behaviours are not embedded, people will revert back to what feels a little bit more comfortable, perhaps, with good reason. But the whole idea of feedback is to reinforce the training they're getting, to reinforce the experience they're getting from the tasks you give them, to make their development real. As a suggestion, perhaps at the end of each course you could ask the students to give you feedback on what they've learned and where they feel a little bit stronger in their skills and where they feel weaker, and maybe use this to refine their personal development plan. Some months after the training and experience that has been gained in the interim, maybe repeat the skills assessment and compare with the pre-training assessment. It should give you an indication of whether the training has succeeded and whether and where there are gaps still in the individual skills. At the end of the day, the learning and development interventions that you apply are geared towards improving and sustaining high performance. And for the individuals concerned, training is an opportunity for them to stretch their minds and to increase their effectiveness. So ultimately, good training and embedding new behaviours into individuals in teams has a very positive impact on costs, but particularly motivation and morale. So we strongly encourage you to support your learners as well as you can.